guys, it's Brittany and welcome back to my channel. Good morning. It is currently 8:30 and I think I've got a little bit of time before Isaac wakes up. So I wanted to go ahead and hop on here because today we're going to do a post-vacation reset video. So I'm just going to share my day, what like a post-vacation like first day back home looks like. We're going to be just catching up on all the things. We have to pick up our dog, who my parents have been watching, so me and Isaac are going to do that this morning. So I'm so excited to see Oreo. I'm probably going to hop into a grocery store to pick up a couple of things because of course like we don't have anything here. And then I'm also going to be sharing like a really easy slow cooker crock pot meal that I actually picked up the ingredients before we left on vacation, like preemptively thinking like, oh, this would be really good to have when we get home, super easy. So that's a little bit about what we're going to be doing today. I'm also going to be getting ready with a new product that I picked up before vacation, so I'm going to share that with you guys as well. Before we jump into catching up and everything, I wanted to quickly introduce myself if you're new here. My name's Brittany and on my channel I do a ton of grocery hauls. I do a little bit of cooking content. I do a lot of day in the life mom content. I'm currently a stay-at-home mom and also work part-time. So that's a little bit about me. I also like to share some travel content when we're traveling because I'm also a travel agent as well. So yeah, that's what you can expect from me and my channel, and that's what we're doing today. Thanks for being here, and with that, let's go ahead and jump in. I feel like making coffee this morning at home and taking that first sip, I'm like, oh, we're back. Like, I love going on vacation so much, but there is something about coming home from a vacation that can almost be more satisfying than the vacation. You know what I mean? So let's talk a little bit first about, I need one more sip, sorry. Let's talk a little bit before we talk about Decay, about what I picked up from Ulta. So this is the Urban Decay Naked Original Palette, and I'm really excited about this. I actually never had the original palette, but it is from my era. I also hope this lighting's okay, guys. I'm sorry if it's not. I don't have the best setup in my room for this, but I never had this. This was in my era. My best friend had this palette in college. This is my first time opening it, and I'm just really excited to have it. This is my first big eyeshadow palette purchase since my surgery, and it's funny, I bought this palette, and the day I bought this palette, my left eye started watering so much. And if you don't know, I had a tear duct surgery almost a year ago. It's a very long story, so I'm not going to share all of it, but essentially my right tear duct was like 100% clogged. And I've been having issues with it, like recurring infections, watering, for like a year and a half. It took them forever to figure out what was wrong with it. And so I had to throw out my entire makeup collection because before they figured out what was wrong, they were like, yeah, maybe because you had infections, your makeup is contaminated, you might want to just start fresh. I threw out my entire eyeshadow collection, which was massive. I did like a whole like declutter video sharing my collection, and I'll link it here if you want to watch it, but that was devastating. And then come to find out it was a tear duct issue. So anyways, I had the surgery, it's fixed now, but before I left on vacation, my left eye started watering a bunch, and I was like, is this a cruel joke from the universe that I buy like an expensive like eyeshadow palette, my first palette back, and my left eye is acting up? But I think it was allergies, hopefully. I do know this one is like partially clogged, but it's not nearly as bad as this eye. So I started taking Claritin again, and so far I haven't had any issues, so crossing my fingers. But anyway, so I bought this and I didn't use it just in case my left eye something was happening where it was infected. I didn't want to contaminate it, but I think we're good. So we're finally going to delve into this today, and honestly just the packaging is like bringing me back to college because I used to do my best friend's makeup before we used to go out at night using this palette, and it's so pretty. I don't know how well you're gonna see in my lighting, but it is pretty stunning, I do have to say. I'm definitely a neutrals girly, and this is just giving like the best everyday vibes. This is gonna be great going into fall. So we're gonna go ahead and do this. I prepped, oh, the shadows are so bad. Let me see if I can adjust my camera. Hopefully that's better. You're not gonna get as much of the natural light, but we shouldn't have the shadows coming in and out. So while I start to play with this, which I'm so excited, we're gonna go ahead and catch up. I'll tell you about my vacation. So we just got back from North Carolina. We went to Wilmington, and Derek's brother lives there and his parents were there. Like, our trips overlapped. So this was a little bit of a last minute trip. We basically booked it, I think, like 2.5 or 3 weeks before we went, which, to be honest, when my husband first told me about this, I was like, are you kidding me? Like, because, okay, if you're a parent and you have a toddler, you know, prepping for a trip can be a lot. Like, it has taken me like 2 weeks to pack for trips before for Isaac. Granted, it is getting easier with each, oh my gosh, this is gonna be one of those things that takes me forever to get off. Oh, not, maybe not. But anyways, it has taken me like 2 weeks to pack for some of the trips that I've taken Isaac on. Granted, I will say it's getting easier. Like, as he continues to get older and older, you bring less stuff, but it's still a lot. And honestly, it was still a good bit of work to go on this trip. But we drove, which also was very daunting, and part of the reason I was hesitant, because road tripping with an 18-month-old, like more than like 3 hours just seems like a lot. So, anyways, we packed up the car, we packed everything up, we drove to Wilmington. The drive was long, but I will say, like, honestly, like, I feel like it was longer for me than it was like Derek or Isaac. Derek was driving, which I feel like he enjoyed. I mean, he doesn't like enjoy it, but like, he enjoys it. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? I don't know if I'm making sense, but I was in the back with Isaac the whole time because I'm like, if I sit in the front, he's definitely gonna fuss, but if I sit in the back, he'll probably be okay. Let me do some makeup. I'm so bad at talking and doing this at the same time. I also have had Urban Decay palettes before, so as I'm like dipping into this, the texture is like coming back to me, you know what I mean? So Isaac did great. I mean, I ordered him a bunch of like toys for the car on Amazon before we left. We did bring Derek's iPad and we put like his shows on it, but we tried to reserve that for the very end of the trip. We like pulled it out in the last like hour and a half, and other than that, he did good. On the way down, it was like such a long drive because we hit so much traffic like in the DC Virginia area because we left on a Saturday. But once we got through to North Carolina, it was fine. We also had kind of like a little bit of rainy weather on the way down, so that also didn't help. This is so pretty, guys. But once we got there, it was a really fun time. And honestly, like, me and Derek started doing a lot of like US travel when I was pregnant, just to like random cities. And sometimes I feel like those are the best little trips. Like, we've been to Austin, Texas. We went to Charleston on our baby moon. We went to Vermont for a wedding. Like, and it's just really fun to see like what different cities in the US have to offer. And the place we stayed at, Derek actually stayed at before when he went to visit his brother. But it was this really cute condo on the Riverwalk, which actually is like, if you watch One Tree Hill, there's a ton of like spots in that area where One Tree Hill was filmed. So that was one of the things we did one day, was kind of just like drive around and see like where the high school was, and like Trick, the nightclub, like all that kind of stuff was. And the basketball courts where Chad Michael Murray like played, they don't exist anymore, but we saw the spot like where the basketball courts were. So we were just in a really good area because we were right downtown and there was just a lot to do. Like, we ate so many good meals there. Like, there were so many great restaurants. Like, we didn't have one bad meal while we were there. We went to the Children's Museum one morning that was like a block from where we stayed. that Isaac had so much fun at. We toured the USS North Carolina battleship. We went to the beach one day, and Isaac just loved the ocean. It was so precious. He was not afraid of it at all. He walked straight towards that water. He wasn't even in a bathing suit, and he just got soaked and was having the time of his life. So it was just a really special trip. And there were a couple things that didn't really like go as planned, but honestly, like it ended up being just like, I think like what I needed, which is funny because I was the one at first who was like, I don't know, like it's gonna be such a long drive, like it's gonna be a lot, and it ended up just being a really nice trip, and we made so many special memories. So I'm so glad that we went, and I feel like I always just have a good time like when we go south. And North Carolina isn't like that far south, but it's always nice to just kind of slow down, like get a change of scenery. It was so like calming and relaxing to walk on the river walk. In the evenings, we would take Isaac out for a little evening like walk or stroll before he went to bed. So it was really, really a nice time. And then yesterday, of course, the drive home, I'm like, I'm never doing this again. Like, even though it wasn't like horrible, it was just a long drive. Like by the time it was all said and done, on the way there, I think it was like a 10-hour drive with stops. And then yesterday, we only stopped actually like twice, and the second time was at a fast food place. We ate at Wendy's like really quick, and it was still like a 9-hour drive. We got home and we had to stop once to go to the bathroom like closer to home. And yeah, by the time we got home, it had been like 9 hours, and I'm like, this was a lot. So will I be road tripping anytime soon? It's not on my list. It wasn't horrible. It was just by the time we were like halfway through it, I'm like, yeah, I really don't need to do this anytime soon, because it's just exhausting to be in a car for that long. And I think too, when you have a kid with you, you know, it's different when you're just like sitting there reading a book or, you know, watching YouTube on your phone. But I had to be entertaining Isaac the whole time. But it was a great time. I'm glad we did it nonetheless, and it was fun to spend some time with Derek's family in a new city. And honestly, it was good for us to squeeze one more vacation in, because the last vacation we went on was in May, so we got one more little like summer trip in, which was really fun. So now we're home and back to the grind as I cheers to another sip of my coffee. I actually need to go out. I don't have half and half here. I threw some milk in my coffee this morning, which is still good, but I definitely feel like half and half is the way to go for coffee. I'm trying to decide. So I did Virgin was like the shade I put on my, all over my lid. I did this in the crease. I did this in the outer corner. I guess we could do a shimmer maybe. Maybe I'll try this little, the Hustle shade on the far end. That's a little shimmery. We'll do a little bit of that in the outer corner. Trying to think if there's anything else from our trip. I don't think so. It was just a really fun time. So I was really just happy though to get home and have our bed and have our normal setup, because the place we stayed in, it didn't have a TV in our bedroom. It was just a 1-bedroom, and we had Isaac sleep in the pack and play in the living room. So pretty much like when he would go to bed, me and Derek had to be confined to our bedroom that didn't have a TV. So most nights we would just sit in there and like, well, I feel like most nights Derek just like went to bed, and then I would watch a show on his iPad. But I will say I did start Hotel Portofino, which is on Amazon Prime Video, and that show was good. I'm like 4 episodes in. It's a period piece. It's set in the 1920s. Really good show. So it's kind of fun. I do like starting new shows when we're on vacation, because then when I come home, if I keep watching them, they remind me of that trip. So that was cool. But other than that, like the Airbnb was nice, but I didn't like super love the setup for having a toddler. It's kind of the worst when you're confined to a room once your kid goes to sleep. It was nice at least that we had 2 separate spaces and we weren't just in a traditional hotel room. But that wasn't the best. Also, the furniture in there was just so not kid friendly. Like their coffee table was beautiful, but it had all these metal fixtures. We stayed in an Airbnb. It had all these metal fixtures, and Isaac was just like having, that place was his jungle gym. And I did bring some like baby proofing stuff for the cabinets and stuff, but there's only so much you can do when you're staying at a place like that. And he was just like running up and down the halls, like, you know, and I just knew, I'm like, he is going to injure himself on this table. It was just inevitable. It was a matter of time. And it was our last night. And he wasn't even running. He just like sat down and he busted his lip on the metal part of the table. And it was like bleeding. And at first I'm like, oh my gosh, because I always get freaked out about the teeth, because if it's the teeth, you can't do anything about that. Like, you have to go see a dentist or a doctor or whatever. Luckily, it was just the outer part of the lip. So I just kind of, you know, put pressure on it, stop the bleeding, clean it up with some soap and water. But his lip did swell up really bad. I gave him some Motrin that night. But after that happened, I was like, okay, I'm ready to be home now. Because, you know, it's just so much easier when you're in your own space and like everything's baby proofed. When you go stay somewhere else, there's always like, I mean, there's always a risk something's going to happen, but there's a greater risk that something's going to happen and it's going to be completely out of your control. So that happened. I'm like, okay, it's time to go home. But like with that, it's just good to be home and be back in our own space today. I think I'm going to use this sidecar shimmer. Just going to use my finger. So today we're going to go pick up Oreo this morning. Isaac is obviously still asleep as I sit here, which I kind of figured he would, because he really didn't nap a ton while we were there. We pretty much would get in the car in the afternoon, because we knew he just was not going to nap in the pack and play during the middle of the day, because there was just like so much to do in that Airbnb for him. So we would get in the car and drive around, and he would take like a 45-minute to an hour car nap. So I'm sure today he's going to be like catching up on his sleep. And he even stayed up, I don't know, like later there too, like 9 or 9:30. One night he went, I think our first night he went to bed at like 10 or 10:30, because we got in kind of late. We went to have dinner with Derek's parents at a pizza place and his brother. So his whole schedule, he's been very off schedule and not getting a ton of sleep. So I'm sure he'll be catching up. I think honestly this is pretty. I'm gonna leave it just the way it is. I only used like 4 shades. But I mean, the formula is very similar, if not better, than the other palette I had. I had the Urban Decay Cherry palette. Probably not one of their more popular palettes. My mom gifted it to me, but this is it. I'll show you guys a natural light, but I think it turned out really nice. Let me do some face makeup. So yeah, we're gonna go pick up the dog. We're gonna go to a grocery store to get some stuff. And I haven't decided if we're doing Sam's Club or if we're gonna do Aldi. I really just want to get some fruit, because I need to sit down and actually like meal plan and figure out what we're gonna make in the next couple days. And then I need to unpack and do laundry. I already did a load of laundry last night, and then because I knew, I was like, let me just get started, that way tomorrow I'm not completely overwhelmed. And we're gonna cook a home cooked meal, because it's always good too. I love like having a break from cooking, but it's also nice when you get home and you can like cook a meal at home again, you know, because after a while, like my skin has been breaking out like the last day or two, and I'm like, that's from all the food we were eating in North Carolina. So I'm gonna go ahead and throw some face makeup on, finish up like my mascara and stuff off camera, and then we're gonna head downstairs and get started on our morning stuff. It is already 8:52, so that means I've been on here rambling for like 15 or 20 minutes, so I'll catch up with you guys in a bit. I just pulled up my little recipe book that I write my recipes in, well, that I try my best to write my recipes in, that I like. Actually, before our trip, I went through my phone and tried to compile some of the ones I've been collecting over the last couple months, because I'm so bad when we find a recipe. I don't always write it down, and then I'm like trying to search through my browser history, and it's a mess. So I did write this one down because it was so good and so easy. So you're just gonna need a bag of frozen hash browns, like the cubes, not the shreds, 1 can of cream of chicken soup, a cup of shredded cheddar, a block of cream cheese, 2 packets of ranch seasoning, 1 bag of the bacon bits, like not the crunchy ones, the like soft ones that are in the salad section. And then you need 4 cups of reduced sodium chicken broth. Shoot, you know what I just realized? I don't think my chicken broth is reduced sodium. Okay, well, that's funny because now I can't put our dinner on. So I picked up all the ingredients before we went on vacation, but I forgot that the recipe called for reduced sodium chicken broth. And normally I would just use the regular chicken broth, but the ingredients I have, like they go in the soup, like the ranch seasoning and the cream of chicken soup all have a lot of sodium in them, and the bacon. So I don't want to use my regular chicken broth I have in the pantry, but I can make this soup on high also. So what I'll do is I'll pick some up when we go to the store. So now I'm definitely gonna have to go to the store this morning and grab that so that we can put that on. That foiled my plans this morning. I was like, let me go ahead and get dinner started. That way I've got a head start on that, so can't do that. Also, I decided to wave my hair this morning for fun, and I don't know how I feel about it. This side, this is weird. There's literally one strand of hair that would not take heat. So this is like flat, but I actually forgot I had a waver, and then I found it in my drawer before our trip, and I was like, I forgot I had this. I should try it out again. I feel like I used it more when my hair was shorter. I feel like my hair is kind of at a weird length right now. You know, sometimes when you're like in between, you can't get it to style the way you want it, and I feel like that's the stage I'm at right now. So yeah, but this piece, I was like, let me try my curling wand and see if I can get that to style. Nope, the waver wouldn't work, that wouldn't work. So I don't know what's happening with this one piece of hair, but I'm actually due to get my hair colored on Saturday. So, but anyways, okay, well, can't put dinner on, so that's a fail, but that's the recipe. Really easy, shelf-stable ingredients that you can just have on hand. I'll have to remember to have reduced sodium chicken broth in my pantry because I don't have that. All right, well, I'm gonna start making Isaac's breakfast and go get him up because it's almost 10 o'clock and he still hasn't woken up yet. He's definitely catching up on his sleep from our trip. So, all right, let me try to get a couple things done and then we're gonna head over to my mom's house. Toy, please.
All right, can I get you anything else?
And then one sandwich.
Just a sandwich?
Yep. And then can I also get an extra pack of the avocado lime ranch? Okay, that was a little chaotic. I just went through Chick-fil-A to pick myself up, Isaac lunch, and my mom lunch. Let me see if they need to do anything up here. Yep. Okay, thank you. So just got out of Aldi. That was good. That was honestly pretty quick. I found what I needed. I'll share a quick haul when we get home. One thing I don't like about Aldi is the whole checkout situation, and it's partially me because I just brought my stroller in because I wasn't doing that big a shop. But you know how they just like throw everything in your cart and you're trying to get your stuff or whatever, and then the lady who's behind me, when I went to grab Isaac's stroller, she like stepped on my leg, which I'm fine. It's just one of those things that like with Aldi is always a battle. Like the checkout situation is never my favorite there. I like now that like, well, the Aldi next to me or by me actually has self-checkout, but I went to the one by my mom's and they don't. And then also like our Walmart, we do self-checkout as well. So I love doing that because I can like have control over the timing and bagging my stuff. But I digress. Besides that, it was a fine shopping trip and Isaac actually did pretty well in there. I actually fed him the rest of his breakfast while we were in there because he didn't want to eat it when we were at home. I had to wake him up at 10:30. Might have been 10:15, but it was late. Like the kid was just conked out. Like I had to wake him up and I was gently like rubbing his back, trying to get him to wake up. And yeah, it took a while to get him up and moving today. So I think I see, oh no, that's not my food. But anyways, we're grabbing our food. Then I'm gonna head to my mom's house. We're gonna get the dog. I'm gonna eat lunch there. And then I'm sure Isaac will fall asleep in the car ride home. So I'm hoping that I can like transfer him to his crib and get a little bit of a nap window today so I can get some stuff done. But we'll see what happens. Hey, buddy. Hi, Schnauzer. We missed you, buddy. Oh, hi. And there's Solomon and Lily acting a fool. The whole gang's here. All right, friends, we're back from running our errands, picking up the dog. I have our Aldi haul on the counter. I just unloaded it, and I want to quickly go through what we picked up before I get it in the fridge. This is a smaller haul, but this is essentially our post-vacations essential haul, just restocking on some Aldi staples that we always love to have in our freezer and fridge. And I wanted to make sure to restock our produce because we just fly through fruit like every day, and we really don't have anything in our fridge right now. So definitely needed to pick some of that up for Isaac and me because I do love me some fruit as well. So starting with that, I picked up some strawberries, some grapes, and bananas. I only picked up 2 bananas because I don't know what's going on recently in the stores, but I just have not found good bananas. They're either too green or too over-ripened, so I picked up the 2 that I thought looked the best. And I'm going to have to run out to the store later this weekend to get our full grocery haul once I figure out what meals we'll be making. But this is kind of just stuff in the interim to get us by the next couple days. I also picked up some green onions for our baked potato soup tonight. Pantry staples, I mentioned earlier, we did not have the reduced sodium chicken broth that I need for my baked potato soup, so I picked up 2 cartons of those. One we'll use today and one I'll stash away for the future. I picked up some of our frozen breakfast staples, the French toast sticks, and these frozen pancakes. Love having these for easy breakfasts in the morning. If you guys know of healthier frozen breakfast options for kids, let me know because I know these aren't the best. They're not awful, but I'm sure there's healthier options out there. So please let me know in the comments if you know of any specific brands you like. It would be really helpful. Also picked up some string cheese because that's a go-to little afternoon snack for Isaac. And then I picked up some of our favorite frozen breakfast sausages, and I did not realize this, but there's actually 2 flavors. Last time I picked up maple, and I thought they had just changed the wrapper of the bag because I noticed last time it was brown, but apparently it was the maple breakfast sausages, which were still good, but we prefer the original. So I made sure to pick up the correct bag today. Again, they're both good, but we're just not huge maple sausage fans. Picked up some half and half, which I mentioned this morning we were out of for coffee in the morning. I also picked up moo tubes, which is Aldi's version of Go-Gurt. Also love these for a little afternoon snack, or sometimes if we're just doing a really quick breakfast in the morning and trying to get out the door, Isaac will have one of these. And then I talked about these pouches before our road trip. We picked up several of these for our trip, and we've almost gone through all of them. I think we only have 1 or 2 left, so I wanted to pick up some of those as well just to restock. So that was everything. Ironically, my last Aldi haul was $35, and today I spent $36.92, which is so funny because I also picked up a can of beans for my mom, and so essentially that was probably $1. So I literally spent the exact same money at Aldi that I did a week or a week and a half ago. It feels like it's been forever since I set up my crock pot like this with the camera to shoot a cooking video, and it's because it has been forever. But it feels good to set it up like this. So if you guys want to see more cooking content from me, comment below and let me know. I've talked about this before, but it's one of those things. I love sharing cooking content, but it's more work and it doesn't always do as well on YouTube. So let me know what you guys think. Also, sorry, I keep going over here to drink water because my throat is so dry and I keep coughing. Anyways, let's go ahead and do this. It's almost 3 o'clock. This needs to cook on high for 3 hours, so I need to get it on because we usually eat around 6 o'clock. So I went ahead and I sprayed my slow cooker with cooking spray. This is just the Aldi version of Pam, the canola oil based spray. You need 1 bag of Southern style hash browns, and these are basically just the hash browns that are in cubes. So the breakfast potatoes. This is 2 pounds, and these are unseasoned, okay? Then you're going to take a can of cream of chicken soup. I've got the Campbell's. I usually buy the Aldi kind, but I decided when I was at Walmart last time, they had a 4-pack on sale. So I was like, I'm going to go ahead and grab a 4-pack of this because, guys, I'm sorry, my throat. I don't know what's going on right now. I cook with this a lot, so I figured I'd go ahead and grab that since it was on sale. Then we're gonna take ranch seasoning, and I just have the Great Value kind, but you can use whatever kind you want. Aldi sells it. I buy the Great Value kind from Walmart because you can get a 4-pack for like less than $1, which is the best deal on the market. So the recipe calls for 2 packets, but I'm just gonna do 1 today. I did this recipe before with 2 packets. The thing with this recipe is though, it's so much sodium because you've got the cream of chicken soup, the ranch seasoning, cheese, bacon bits, and the chicken broth. That's why I needed the reduced sodium one and had to go out to get it. So they dump everything in the crock pot together, and that's how I made it the first time. But the first time I made it, I cooked it on low for a while because my crock pot cooks pretty hot. But since I'm starting this so late in the day, I am going to go ahead and cook this on high. But because I'm cognizant of the fact that my crock pot cooks so hot, I don't want to add the cream cheese and the cheddar cheese just yet. So I'm going to kind of modify this based on my crock pot's cooking tendencies. It's honestly kind of a problem. And why can't I open this chicken broth? At least I know my chicken broth was really sealed. Had to poke a little like hole in the metal thing. You know, the foil that comes on top, and the way the cap's designed, it's supposed to puncture it, but it wasn't. So we're just gonna put the chicken broth in, and then I'm gonna pop the lid on. We're gonna cook it on high, and probably about an hour and a half in, I'll check on it, and then I'll probably go ahead and add the bacon, and then I'll probably add the cream cheese and cheddar cheese maybe an hour out before we serve. And I also can go ahead and taste this, at least the broth, like halfway in, because if I feel like it's not seasoned, I can always go ahead and add the other ranch packet. And then we'll just add some pepper to this as well. I love this recipe because this is all stuff you can just have on hand, which is kind of, you know, before our trip, I was like, I'm going to go ahead and grab the ingredients for this because the bacon, shelf stable, the canned soup is shelf stable, the broth, if you have the correct broth on hand, like I thought I did, but I didn't, that's shelf stable, ranch seasoning, shelf stable, and then pretty much you just have to have cream cheese and cheese in your fridge, which we normally do. So it's like a very easy meal that you can have all the ingredients on hand, and when you're in a pinch or you're just like craving something comforting, it's very easy to throw together. And it's also nice because it's one of those recipes that you don't necessarily have to put on in the morning, but of course you've got to time it so that you're going to be home and throw it on before dinner time. But it worked out today that we could do this. And then I'm just going to pop this on high, and we'll do it for 3 hours. And then I will check back in when I'm adding the other ingredients later. Hey guys, I wanted to pop on here and just say hi because I kind of went off the grid after I got dinner on. It's 5 o'clock. I'm about to go upstairs and get Isaac. He took a super long afternoon nap. We got home at like 2:30 and he fell asleep in the car at 2:15. And Derek transferred him to his crib when I was unloading the groceries and stuff. So he took him inside and put him down. So he's been asleep this entire time. And I'm glad because honestly, I think he's just trying to catch up after this trip. So I wanted to say hi before I run upstairs and get him because I'm sure like as the night goes on, it will get crazier and I won't be on here as much. But I'm about to go ahead and put the cream cheese and the cheddar cheese in the soup as well. I put the bacon in I think like 30 or 45 minutes ago. And it's just the Oscar Mayer like bacon bits. I should have shown like a video of it, but you know what I'm talking about, like the pre-cooked one. So I threw that in and I've just been kind of like unpacking and kind of like organizing things. And actually my brother who lives in Illinois called me and we were catching up for a bit. So it's been a really busy day, but it's also been nice because I've gotten to catch up with people. Like I got to have lunch with my mom and catch up with her this morning. And yeah, just catching up on pretty much everything, I guess. I've got a little laundry in. So I'm gonna go get Isaac. We'll probably give him a little bit of a snack and then we'll go take him outside to play because it's actually a really pretty day here. And I think we're also trying to like get our steps in after being in the car for so long yesterday. It honestly feels really nice to be up and moving around today. So that's the latest. Let's take a look at our soup before I throw the cheese in. So yeah, this is the soup. I put the bacon in there and it smells super good. I'm probably going to grab a pouch for Isaac, let him come down here, have a snack, and then I'll grate the cheese and do the cream cheese while he's having snack. I just shredded up my sharp cheddar cheese. I have probably about a cup and a half, and I reserved some for topping the soup. So I'm going to stir this in, and then I'm also going to soften my cream cheese a little bit before I add it in here, just because I'm adding it towards the end of the cooking time. And the original recipe calls for you to put it in at the beginning. And then here's my cream cheese that I just heated up for a couple minutes. I did it on, see how warm this is. Oh yeah, no, it's still good. I was like afraid I did the power level, you know, where you heat it at not like full power, but it looked pretty softened, like more softened than it should be. So I wanted to make sure it wasn't like scalding hot. Okay, mix this in. And then I've got 34 minutes left on my crock pot. I think I might bump the time up maybe by like 30 more minutes, just because I know we're going to be outside for a little bit, and I would rather it cook a little bit longer just to make sure the potatoes are cooked all the way while we're out gallivanting. But basically dinner's ready. When we get back in, I'll just give it a stir. I'll cut up some green onion, and then if we want to top with extra bacon or cheese or sour cream, it's all good to go. Friends, we've made it to the end of the night. It's 9:19 and Derek is going to put Isaac to bed. I'm feeling so beat. We were just on the couch watching a little bit of Big Brother. We have about 20 minutes to finish. We're way behind, but it's getting juicy. I don't know if you guys watch that show, but dinner was so good. That soup is so delicious and it's so easy. And the one ranch packet was totally fine. I honestly didn't really taste a difference between the two versus one. So in the future, I would definitely just do one packet to reduce sodium. But I'm gonna close off our video here because I'm tired. We're gonna finish our show and then I'm gonna go shower and get ready for bed. Thank you guys so much for joining me today in my little post-vacation reset. It honestly was a really good day. It was productive, but I also got to catch up with some loved ones. And it was kind of a nice balance of all the things. It just always feels so good when you get home from a trip and just kind of soaking up the little stuff, you know, just those little moments of joy that we get during our day just being at home. So I hope you all enjoyed. Thanks again for watching. Stay tuned for more videos from me in the future. And if you're new here, make sure you subscribe to join my little YouTube family. And with that, I will see you all in my next video. Bye.
Mm-hmm.